You're on, dude.
Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Fantastic. Welcome back again. Kind of like to start off everything. First couple sessions we talked about, obviously, sort of just getting your body moving. Main components. Turning. Your body ability to rotate and turn. So as you're doing that, and you get your body to just kind of turn and move. Key components. Your body has certain places that do that naturally. Way up the top of the head, but otherwise mainly your thoracic, your hips, and we'll get eventually to your feet, which are sort of a fake, sort of pseudo rotation. Other parts of your body don't rotate. Lower part of your spine, neck, your lumbar spine, your knees. So if you feel stress or feel anything, you're doing any of these exercises, you're trying to move, you're doing this, if you feel something anywhere other than your hips or your back, you feel it in your knees, you just back off a little bit, give a little time. You probably hit a barrier, which most of us do sooner than we think, and it's forcing us into other places. So just be careful with everything you do and give it time. Like start out each one. At this point, go down later on, ask us questions, but if anybody off the top immediately have any questions about previous stuff? Good. Okay, fine. Again, find it, myself and Patty, just ask us anything throughout the rest of the time. Just a quick side note. I don't know why, but we ordered a bunch of stuff and there were some weird versions of this. The ones that you have, if there's a belt that kind of sticks out, you can just clip off the little one, feed it through, and it'll work like this. They were all supposed to be just essentially like this. So we have some. If it's the one you have, it seems really confusing or hard to work with, just let me know and we'll swap it out. I didn't order the appropriate ones online. We'll also get some band material for you for what we're going to do today a little bit. Does anybody have any allergies to latex that they're aware of? If you do, let me know. Okay. That's kind of for that. Anybody here from Canada? I'll go down. Anyway, I spent about 11 years as a competitive alpine ski racer. Winter Olympics are kind of my thing online, so I had to go with Go US, last weekend of it. Okay, so movement, we started to get things to rotate. All right, talked about not necessarily shifting, but loading, getting your body to get that body weight on a leg to do it. I don't care if you're throwing a ball to somebody, trying to hit a golf club, or Matt was talking about, which I love, trying to skip a rock. You don't do this, right? It's, and you get your body and get down to it and turn. I love hearing things that kind of use for references along that line. I have zero issues whatsoever stealing things that other people say, but I'll give them credit. So that's what we're trying to do is get that power now. So now we're just venturing into strengthening. So how do you get, once you start to turn, we need to wake up the muscles that help with that. All right, fine. There's all kinds of things you can do for just generalized strengthening, but these are sort of catered to kind of things that are just really need to highlight with golf. Today, going back to hips or lower extremity around this area. And the main part we generate all of that power is from here. Glutes in particular, one of the main things people talk about glutes is squats. Fine, I don't have that on here. We're going to talk about two other types of movements, but squats are great. The easiest thing is just straight up and down squats. You put a hand in something, you weight 5 pounds in your hand or a water bottle or something on the line. The common term for that is called a goblet squat. Does anybody know why it's called a goblet squat? See people holding like a kettlebell thing. The whole point of it is just to help with our form. All of us have less motion than we think we do. When we go to squat, at a certain point, most of us, or tip over, or hip, so most of us are Achilles and things are really tight. Envision you are now holding a goblet full of water, or whatever. So if you're going down, at some point, if you start to tip, it would spill out. So it's just kind of a way to keep the reference of just keeping your body in a nice position. I don't care how far you go, the moment you unlock your knees, you're using these muscles. Great. That's a straight plane motion. Important, fine. Golf is not. So golf is turning and that ability to load. So we start talking about some muscles more on the sides of our hips and deeper, which are the ones that help rotate us. So everything on the side, that's what these are all about. And they're, once you get to it, we'll go through pretty quick. They're pretty self-explanatory. There's some variations on different versions. So starting out with the side, rotation. It's the muscles in the side of your hip Think of a teeter-totter. If you pull on one side of the teeter-totter, it lifts the other side up. That is what your muscles on the side do every time you take a step. You go to take a step, these muscles pull down on your hip, you lift the other side up. They don't work as well, it drops, in which case it slides and pinches and pulls. So if you're trying to use those muscles, fine. They are the same muscle that would lift your leg out, but when it's planted, they lift up the other side. So these are all about the leg you are standing on. Well, right-hand golfer, that's where you're loaded. That is the motion you're trying to do. Get that hip to drive that way. So to facilitate those, one of the easiest things, and again, these are all in here, it's hard to see in here, is to simply take your hip and hold it up. But most of us will just sort of lean, okay? So if you can put yourself against a wall, a door, and just simply pick one hip up and hold it there. That is this muscle. You're not leaning your head and shoulders into it like that along the line, you're trying to lean away. You're just putting your hip up against something and holding. And fairly quickly, you're going to feel some muscles working around the side. And it is quite, not really much, you're probably leaning, just kind of put your hip on it. All you're doing. You simply stand on a stair and don't let the hip drop. It's muscles here that are doing that, okay? You can do that too. I like these because it gives you a little more stability. If you happen to have access to a ball, it can be a soccer ball, it can be something smaller, basketball, you have one like this. You can simply put your hip near a ball. What's really nice about this is if you just take that foot off the ground, you're using these muscles, okay? Everybody has a tendency to want to lean into the ball, okay? You're just simply standing next to it. Again, if you don't have a ball, or you can use something smaller like a soccer ball or like that, or if you don't have it, you can put your hip on the wall. Think of like there's a little smudge on the wall that you're trying to clean off, okay? Not leg. The ball, again, works really well, simply because once you're here, you can move the ball. And if you move the ball up and down, it's tired.
You're not used to isolating these muscles, so you'll notice.
You'll feel it quick. So the other nice thing about this makes it a little more dynamic. Two main things we're talking about, muscle on the side here, but also turning. So you can take that ball and just hold it minimum level, maybe a little higher, and then if you roll the ball forward and backward, that is rotation around standing pivoting. So that is this. Which I should show you a variation of. But that works really well for you. Okay? So those are all the muscles in the side of your hip.
Yeah. What happens if you lift that right leg up a little higher with that ball?
The one that's by the wall.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up, and that's the main thing most people do. If their leg is here, Patty holds the ball, okay? I'll pick your right knee up and down with the right knee and up with the right knee. You're still holding yourself there with the left, but that is muscles of the the one that's not in the air, that's around the hip. We're not really trying to get this to fire. So what you're hoping to feel is the muscles around the leg you're standing on.
Because I was doing this and then, lifting up that way.
Okay? So whatever you're trying to do with that, puts it in the air, that more or less gets to relax. It's the one you're standing on that you're using the muscles to hold this up.
Okay.
If you're not feeling it on here as much, this is harder than just to hold your body up. That's why I like leaning against the wall. Just try to go against something that's more stationary and just hold it. And as long as this isn't dropping, you'll feel it pretty quick on that side. And just give it a little bit of time. Okay? Other ways to get that side to move. What I really like is just laying on your side. Bring your leg up and down. But envision this is the front of a couch or a wall. Go over there, but if you just sit here and put your back against the wall, and then put your heel against the wall, I don't care if you go 2 inches, but if you bring your leg up and down without letting the heel come off the wall, you can use like a washcloth, fold it against there and slide it up and down. Again, I don't care if you just move a little bit. Everybody is tight in the front of us. So the moment we lift our leg up, we want to do this. So if you keep it on the wall, up and down, it will, put that right behind me, totally fine. Keep it on the wall, you'll feel that, not only on the side, but a little bit on the back as well.
The key to this is positioning. See how he's perpendicular to the floor? He's not leaning forward, he's not leaning back, he's perpendicular to the floor.
Which again, if you have something, if you can get to a floor carefully, comfortably, if you back up against it, your back can be against it and you can feel that, and it's harder to roll. And again, you're going to feel this very quickly. So I don't like putting a whole lot of numbers. There's a whole lot of things that you'll see with exercise. 3 sets of 10, 2 sets of 20. There's nothing rooted in exercise science, physiology on the line. It's easy to remember. Okay, every one of us here. There may be people who are tired at their 3rd rep of set 2 if you do 10. There may be people who aren't doing anything at 3 sets of 10. Go slow, and when you feel fatigue, that's your number. So how long you do it, most of this, it's until the muscles get tired. That's really kind of it. So that's really the only one that is in the air where your leg is moving, okay? You can use bands and hook it around your ankle and pull out. There's 810,000 things you can go Google them online. But I like doing the ones that are kind of where you're planted stationary specific to this, because that's that hip on the wall kind of what we're really doing, okay? Rotation. There are a ton of little muscles deeper to your glutes that look like that go around your hip. Your hip bone sits in between them. So these group of muscles pull you this direction and rotate your leg that direction. The other side pull that way. And so they are, the deep rotators are small, but they work as a unit. So there's a whole host of muscles through this area. So again, they get fatigued fairly quickly, and most of us don't have a lot of range of motion. So how do we work on that? Again, you're going to have some bands like this, okay? You tie a little circle in the end, you can take and feed this through. You want to go? So, this is an option. However, before you even do this, sit up nice and tall if you can, take one leg, don't care which, and simply turn one leg out, okay? Now, there are certain things that when we show and demonstrate along that line that are slightly misguided or misleading, I should say is a better way to say it. Go ahead and do that again.
Very misleading.
That is misleading. She has some stability issues along that line because she's very mobile. Most people can't go that far. Theoretically, however, anatomically, the hip socket has the ability to go at minimum 40 to 45 degrees of rotation. Both ways. This is the way most people can't. That's external, go one more time the other way. That's more than most people have. So when you do this, don't be surprised if it doesn't move very far. What you want to pay attention to is what's happening to your body. That's what most people do to try to get that foot up. Either the body will lean or that hip will pop up off of it. As soon as this stops moving, stop. And just hold it, okay? You'd be surprised how much you'll feel that. And oftentimes kind of right in front here, this little muscle in front here. So you go that. Well, even if you don't have a lot of range, the farther you go, the more you might find. If it doesn't move very far, you can still get a really decent just activation of these muscles. You make a little loop like this. Simply put it around your foot and ankle. And simply door or something, and just here, and just rotate. In this case, you're just rotating that way, okay? Let's slide this one, there we go. Everything we're doing, to the best of your ability, think form over force. How am I doing it? What's happening? I do it as soon as we run into a space that's tight, your body's conditioned to move elsewhere. I'm going to lift your knee quite a bit. That's what a lot of people will do. The mindset is that you need to have a giant amount of motion. As soon as it stops in either direction, you just started moving somewhere else. Simply turn around, face the other direction, put this in a door, doorknob, something like that. Don't let anyone open the door, hide anything. And now the other way. Bands are really versatile. A lot of orthopedists that come protocols and things that say no band exercises, any kind, all caps, bolded. The reason for it is because it has what we call variable resistance. As you go, the farther you pull on it, it gets slightly stronger amount of resistance. So basically it's like, well, there's a fear that you're gonna hurt yourself because way at the end of something there's greater pull. lighter. Okay? Start where there isn't a lot of resistance to begin with, because at the end there will be more. You could do additional things, whereas it's getting tight, you could take your hand and kind of help it a little bit, or your other foot. So go ahead one more time, and then help at the end with the other foot. So, band's an extremely versatile thing to use. Just understand that as you pull on it, it will get a little stronger the farther you go. So start easy and gentle with that.
And don't just let your legs snap back with the band. So if I'm pulling and there's tension, I'm gonna slowly control the band as it shortens back up.
Forgot to show them, but just click on here. This is one I also like, simply because everything we do, sitting and everything, our hips are flexed like this. So we're tight in the front. So we're doing this a lot, doing things here, even golf bent over like this a little bit, but our hips get really tight. So in this position here, if you now very gently bring your feet to your, from there now go the other way. Gently back. Again, don't expect to have a lot of motion. These little rotator muscles in your hips are small. So just hold there. So even if you just do a little what we call isometric, you have a little bit of tension on it, it's not moving very far, fine. Then you could ease up, go a little further, and pull there. Now go the other way. Hold there, and pull in, and hold there. So you can move your leg a little bit, different positions with tension, without it going through range, and just hold it isometrically. Okay? So in that one I like because your hip is open. That is a lot tighter, a lot harder. Don't expect to have as much range of motion because most of us are like this. Okay?
And when you're doing this, and I was kind of cheating at the end there, and you probably can't see it. I'll do it on the other side. Okay. So as I'm turning, you'll see my hip come off the floor. And you want to minimize that as much as possible. So stop right there.
And again, every one of us in here has varying degrees of rotation. I was going to bring a picture up. It's hard to see. Picture of mine working on, his rotation is like that. One moves like this, one side doesn't move at all. So don't even be surprised if it's different side to side on you. It's pretty common for most of us. Okay? So rotation is still what we're doing. Okay? There are several of these pictures that you'll see maybe a little bit of an overlap on things. Okay, rotation. We talked about this once before where you're simply standing with your hands on your hips, unlock your knees, turn in direction and hold. So is this working on range of motion of the muscles or strength? Yes. It's overlap. So literally, all you unlock here, as long as you don't straighten things out and feel stuff in your knees, just turn. Okay. You can do the same thing with a band around you. Okay. Yeah. With a little resistance. So take that band, throw it around your hips, and you get a little feedback. So this is cool not just for strength. It's not the amount of force you're having to put into it, but when you turn, having the muscles pull on something allows them to fire better. Kind of turning is one thing, having a little bit of resistance, it's like, oh, that's what I feel, okay? And in this case, it should be somewhere around the hips, buttock area. Most of us do this. No joke. So, when it stops here, stop. And it's not as much motion as you think. But having this around you just gives a nice little feedback. You can throw it in the door, close the door, stand back, just a little bit of turn, okay? And then last couple. These are just different ways to get things to move. Again, I like doing things where you're loaded and standing on the legs you're using. There's a thing called an airplane, okay? It's just kind of a term. An airplane, position you're like this, arms like this is an airplane. Then you might see this again when we talk about balance. But it's about turning your hip. So, start with your hand on something, a whole lot easier. If you get onto one leg. If it's hard for you, leave the other foot on the ground on the toes. Okay? Most people want to do this. This is not for the leg that's in the air. Everything we're doing is the leg you're standing on. So if you have your hands on something, you can simply turn. This is rotation around the standing leg. I wasn't quick enough to catch it. One of the couple years ago tournaments on the tee box, somebody was sitting on in the background. Tiger Woods was in the back, warming up, just happened to be Tiger, and he was in the background doing this on the tee box. Better than I'm doing. And it was just leg in the air, 8, 10, 15 reps. That was his warm up on the tee box. So that's motion. Fine. Hands on something, it's just trying to turn. The advanced version is no hands. And you're just trying to rotate your body. It's harder than you think. But I like to get sort of advanced things, because some of these are easier, some of these are harder for people on that line. Okay?
And don't be surprised if you see a difference between one side versus the other. So we oftentimes have more or less range of motion than we do on one side than we do on the other, and that goes the same goes for strength. So don't be surprised if that happens. You know, it's not a bad thing. It's just okay. It's a mental note. Oh, I need to pay attention to that.
And last one. Again, just turning. Stand. Envision you have a club in your hand. Put a club in your hand, fine. From here, simply turn, okay? You can make it harder by backing up a little bit or not. It's not about that. It's about having some resistance when you turn. Think about this as hips. Again, you might see this in the variation when we start talking about upper back and shoulder motion. But you're just, from here, turning with a little resistance and trying to hold. However, you're trying to turn your hips. Otherwise, I put anything in people's hands and it becomes all army. You don't want anything to be all army.
You need
No?
a few Marines
Anyone?
in there.
Every year, it's the same response. I thought it was funny. So same thing there, and then you just turn around, opposite, on right-handed back. You're just loading. It's not aggressive, not you're just putting some tension on. You'll feel that in those hips. If it feels like you're doing too much with arms, simply keep them close to you and turn here. But now we're getting that movement with some resistance. So you say do the other way. Turn around, face the other way when you do it. I just want to make sure we're on time. A lot of stuff here, but basically muscles on the side of you and muscles that rotate you. I like catering to things where you're standing. There's a bunch of other things you can do. That's why we showed these. Don't have to do all of them. Don't even try it. Just pick and choose a few of them from much that work really well for you. And if you have any questions, let either of us know.
And start out slowly. Like I said before, these are muscles that aren't used to being isolated. So don't go all in on the first day. Build yourself up a little bit on the first day 1. Increase by day 7. Increase again by day 14, etc., etc.
Otherwise, you wake up tomorrow and feel like somebody heel kicked you.
Yeah, you'll be like.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.